Good morning, April and Gabe. Today, this is Monday's, I know I'm getting these out late, but this is Monday's language, and we're going to do page 199 and 200. They start out this lesson saying fishing for more compliments. In addition to the direct object, the indirect object, and the predicate nominative, there is one more complement, the predicate adjective. A predicate adjective is an adjective that follows a linking verb and modifies a subject. So let me just review with you the difference between the four of these. If I were to, first of all, direct objects and indirect objects are for action verbs only. So if I would say April is raising chickens, and I was just talking to her about her chickens, right? All right, so April is the subject, and she is raising, that's a helping verb. What is she raising? Chickens. So that would be the direct object. Do you remember that? If I would say April sold Mrs. Kenny $10 chickens, which I would love to buy some chickens off you guys. Once you go to sell them, let me know what you're selling them for, and I will gladly buy some off of you. So what is April is still the subject. She sold, that's the verb, and it's an action verb. What did she sell? She sold chickens, which is the direct object. Maybe I should put these in a different pen. But she sold the chickens, that's the direct object. Who did she sell them to? She sold them to Mrs. Kenny. So Mrs. Kenny is the indirect object. All right? That's direct object and indirect object coming after action verbs. Action verbs, okay? But what if we have state of being verbs? What if I say that Gabe is an excellent football player, and I've seen you catch that ball and throw it. Okay? So here, Gabe is my subject. Okay? Is a linking verb or a state of being verb. And what are you? You're a player. Player is a noun. It's renaming you. It's called the predicate noun or the predicate nominative. Excellent football would just be adjectives describing what kind of player you are. Okay? Now, if I were to say, let me get my pen back. Let me get rid of all my ink first. Get my pen back to. If I were to say Gabe is very funny, and you are funny. Okay? Sometimes you're just funny because you think everything is funny and you laugh, right? So therefore, Gabe is the subject. Is a state of being verb. Funny is an adjective describing Gabe. I could almost even say funny Gabe, right? Funny is not a noun though, it's an adjective. It's coming after a state of being verb, so we call it a predicate adjective, not a predicate nominative because it's not a noun. We call it a predicate adjective. All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about today, predicate adjective. Don't forget the list of linking verbs, state of being verbs. It can also be linking. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. And then these words could be action or linking depending on how you're using them. Okay? You can feel something or you can feel tired. When you feel tired, you're not really doing anything. But when you feel something, you're actually doing something. So it's depending on how you're using it in the sentence. Sorry, my dog's barking at nothing. All right. So number 1 here under Think A, underline the linking verb 2 times, underline the subject 1 time, and circle any predicate adjectives. So Peter and Paul were faithful unto death. What's our subject? Oh, first of all, can we always get rid of the prepositional phrase? There we go. All right, so we have Peter and Paul are both the subject, and they were, and what were they? They were faithful. That's the predicate adjective. Okay? The day is cold and dark and dreary. So there's no prepositional phrase, but the day is the subject, and it is, and what is it? Cold, dark, dreary. Okay? I do believe we diagram these with a slanted line if I can find them anywhere. Dum-ba-dum. Yeah. I think they're... Ugh. It's been so long since I've diagrammed predicate adjectives. I'm looking ahead here. Here we go. Yep. It's diagrammed with a slanted line, just like the predicate nominative would. But these are multiple, so you would do like this. Oh, not a very... Let me just get rid of all this again. Okay. So, nice straight line, if you can make it. It's not writing now. Day is, right? Then we have a slanted line, and we have 3 things, and we would put cold, damp, dreary, and the and goes right here. All right, so we would diagram it. A good name is better than riches. All right. So a good name is better. Name is the subject. Is the verb. And better is our predicate adjective. All right. Than riches. Almost sounds like a prepositional phrase, but I don't think it is. Can't remember what it is, though, now that I'm thinking about it. It's making my brain work hard. Trying to remember what that was. All right, let's go to page 200. Don't these pages look so much better since we started scanning? I can't believe we just figured that out. Okay, here we go. The heart is deceitful. I should have done above all things, and desperately wicked. Desperately, it's okay, so it is deceitful and it is wicked. 2 predicate adjectives. Desperately would be an adverb. This is a prepositional phrase. Okay? All right, good men are always reasonable. Men are, always is an adverb. Reasonable, predicate adjective. Girl, new girl. Whoops, sorry. Just one line. Looks. She's not really looking. This is just how she looks. So that's a predicate adjective. Lauren and Hannah are being friendly to her. So Lauren and Hannah are the subject, and they are being friendly to her as a prepositional phrase. The chowder, this would be an adjective. Corn would be an adjective for chowder. Tastes. Now the chowder isn't really tasting. It tastes a certain way. So this is an adjective for it. Predicate adjective. The little child grew restless and tired. And this is a prepositional phrase. Okay. You may also test to make sure that the word is actually an adjective by using the word very before it. Interesting. So you could say the heart is very deceitful. Good men are always very reasonable. The girl looks very lonely. You see how that works all the time? Yeah, that's interesting. I always like to say you can put it before the noun, and if it works, it usually is a predicate adjective. Like the deceitful heart, the reasonable men, the lonely girl, the friendly girls, something like that. That makes sense too. Fill in each blank with an appropriate predicate adjective. So I'm going to fill in the ones I think. If you got a better one, feel free to put it in. Do you think the fish tasted salty? My friends will be blank with my report card this time. Happy. We always want them to be happy, right? The bell sounded blank as it echoed over the water. I love the word ominous. Like something bad's going to happen. Spooky, ominous. The crowd became blank, waiting for the parade became... Oh, I'm so sad because we're not having a Memorial Day parade in Climax. The crowd became restless. Jacob was blank to hear the news of Tyler's letter. Excited. All right. Okay, that's it for today. Nothing on your own. We did it all together. I'm going to start the next lesson immediately.